My first encounter with the Bronte sisters was Emily Bronte with the Wildfell Hills, and I got really surprised about this book. And then I decided to read Charlotte Bronte with Jane Eyre, and I was like, that's it. This is one of my favorite books ever. It was so empowered, and I was really surprised to see how she was writing and the topics she was talking about. And then I finally decided to give it a try to the youngest sister, which is Anne Bronte, and I read the Tenant of Wildfell Hall. You don't understand like how obsessed I became and how intense this was. And we are following Helen Graham, and she arrives in this small town when everybody's wondering who she is, where she's coming from, what is her past, because she had a son. She has a son and her name is Arthur. So everyone is like, where is her husband? Like, everybody's talking about, how the small towns are like so bad. Sometimes they gossip. And then this book is written by a letter that a guy named Gilbert writes. So that's how we start the book, right? We open the book and we start reading this letter. And then that's how we find out that she came there, and then he started having feelings for her. But she's really defensive. She's like, no. And then she finds out that people talk about her, and everybody's thinking that she has like some kind of like affair with this guy named Lawrence. And Gilbert, that she's kind of like trying to flirt with her, and they became really close. They're super friends. So she feels like, oh, well, now you believe all the comments that people say about me. And he was like, well, I saw you with Lawrence talking, and people are like talking about you. So I don't know, who are you? And she's like, you know what? I'm going to give you my journal so you can understand my life and where I came from. We read the journal here. And I don't even know. It's so powerful. We read about a story of love and abuse so badly and so emotional, and how she was really young and met this guy and fell in love with him. But it's like in the beginning it shows you the signs how this love was not like healthy love, which is like calm and peaceful. It was really like intense, and I love you and I want this from you. When you're young, we think that that's love, and that's what she believed. So she marries him, and he became an alcoholic. Well, he wasn't an alcoholic before. It just came more intense, and everything that he did to her, we follow her journey. I did so many notes. Like, it's one of the quotes, because when she had this son, she says like, how can I have your son love you? Like, how can I have my son love his father but do not follow his example, because what he's seeing. It was really powerful, really emotional, as I said. And sometimes we feel like just leave him, just get out, but it was not that easy. And we can see all her values, how she thinks, how she suffered, how she's trying to do her best as she can for the time that it was living in. It was like 1800, so just imagine how the society was in that moment. And this guy was just completely a piece of garbage. Like, he was just an abuse. He was like cheating on her. And when I found out with who, I was completely angry. I was completely getting so upset. And when I read through her story, I was feeling a lot like anger, and then sadness, and then I was laughing. It was just a lot. And the end is just perfect. I mean it was perfect because it's a novel, and it is how to end, because we have to end it like good, in a good way. And I think she's an incredible job. But all the journey she's going through, it's a lot. Like how the marriage started, how it became really bad, and now how she decided to leave the marriage, how she did it, what she had to do in order to free her from the husband because she had a son. She has a son, and how are you going to tell your son about your dad? What example you want to give? Like, it's a lot, and I think she did a great job. And I was, as I said, really surprised, because I don't think those type of topics were talked about in that moment, and especially having a woman leaving a husband and trying to do everything by herself and trying to work for herself and all that. It was really intense. The vocabulary is also extremely intense, like the discussions, that, you know, how he's acting, what he's saying, what, and how she's responding, how she's so hurt. It's a lot, and I think it's a really unique and really original how she developed the story, like writing through a journal, because that's how we can get the connection to the main character, which is through her life. Like, who else can tell your life better than yourself? And especially when you write a journal, is when you write all your feelings and you're really true. So that's a perfect way to be justifying the strong words that get here, because we're reading a journal, like her feelings. And at the very end, like I would say 20, 30, no, maybe more like 50 pages before the end is when the journal ends, and then the story between Gilbert and Helen continue. So I think it's great. I think she did an extraordinary job. Like, this book is gonna be in my heart for so long. And the story of abuse, it doesn't matter if it's 100 years ago, today, tomorrow. It's gonna be always the same early signs on dating, and it's gonna be worse when they get married. And it's just incredible how we read this story a long time ago, and it could touch the hearts and the lives from people these days, because it's what happened when you live an abusive and toxic relationship. This is exactly what it happens, and it doesn't matter if it's like another 100 years. If you read this book, it's gonna be really the same, and you're gonna feel, wow, I feel so much empathy for this person. Talk about alcoholism, talk about macho thing, talk about society in that moment. It's a really good book, and if you have the opportunity to read this book, you will love it. It's not slow, it's not fast paced, but it's really emotional. It took me like 4 days to read it, because in some moments I have to like stop reading, because it was really like intense to me and triggers me a lot. But I learned a lot as well. Like, I really learned. I think when you finish a book and you start thinking and you start like, wow, that's so true, this is what happened, and the quotes and the experience she has is helping you. Oh, that's a complete different story. The love of literature, when these things happen, when you learn and you think about the book. So I really enjoy this book. If you please can have it 5 stars. Feminist book. I think every single woman should read this book, and I was super surprised to read this classic. And wow, Bronte sisters, you guys, wow, like, I'm fan of Bronte sisters completely. So much for watching my video. Thank you so much. I am really excited. Weather is getting cold, and I love that, because I'm so fan of like fall, and I can't wait to see you next week with a new adventure. And yeah, thank you so much. And if you like it, please give a like, share it with your friends, subscribe to my channel, because we're growing, we're getting there.